Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of the AeroChat podcast, where we talk about the most beloved aesthetics of the 2000s and 2010s. We'll be debating whether a specific thing is Frutiger Aero or not, and we'll be talking about its other sub-aesthetics. Now, as we all know, Frutiger Aero isn't that prominent anymore as a corporate tech aesthetic style, but did you actually know you can still find Frutiger Aero in some places? Not that much, but it's still prominent. So, in this episode of AeroChat, we're going to be taking a look at the places where Frutiger Aero is still prominent. The PlayStation 4 and 5. It's pretty obvious that PlayStation 3 is Frutiger Aero, and that after the PS4 and 5 released, that the style just dropped out. But if you really think about it, the PlayStation 4 barely counts as Frutiger Aero. Barely, but it still does. This is mainly prominent in the home menu with the background and some of the transparent effects. And definitely in the music is where this lies a bit. It does remind me of the aesthetic because of how calm and the keys help a lot with it. macOS Tahoe. The new release of macOS has a new user interface, which is called Liquid Glass. This is the first major macOS design style update that we've had since about 2021. So Liquid Glass right now, it's pretty controversial. Some people think that it's way too ugly and makes things hard to see. Some people think it's not Frutiger Aero enough. In my opinion, I am one of these people. And some people think that it's a sign that Frutiger Aero is coming back in a corporate tech aesthetic type of way. But this is mainly because, first of all, the colors. Blue is very prominent in this theme right now. Then second of all, we have the transparency. In all the panels, all the spotlights and stuff, everything is transparent. Literally everything in that OS is transparent. Mac OS 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So like I said, in 2021, macOS had a really big user interface update. And I would say that while it isn't very Frutiger Aero, there are some components, like the gradients on some buttons, like some that I have here right now in GarageBand. And speaking of GarageBand, the controls pane, I would say that it's very skeuomorphic, because it looks just like a control pane would in real life, which is the whole point of skeuomorphism. The Frutiger Aero-ness kind of lies in the icons, really. The mail icon, the contacts, dictionary, hourglass, image capture, audio MIDI setup, and much more. You'll find a lot of brushed metal in these icons. You'll find gradients, or you'll find skeuomorphism. Soft soap. Everyone knows soft soap for having a lot of gradients, transparency, and fish on their bottles. But this is just barely, of course. Aero. In Australia, there's a chocolate here that we have. It's called Aero. It's literally just called Aero. For the most part, it is pretty Frutiger Aero. It's supposed to be a bubbly chocolate, but there's also bubbles on the packaging, probably to help sell their case, but they probably didn't have Frutiger Aero in mind anyways. But it's just cool to think. So thank you for listening or watching this episode of the AeroChat podcast. Where have you seen Frutiger Aero in your daily life recently? And if you have any ideas, any future ideas for this podcast, please tell me in the comments, and I hope you all have a good day.